everybody up. Let's see if we get more people popping up about it. Don't know, but anyway, we're on. So I think at this point, if if you're a betting man, I think this should be a long series. I don't see a sweep by anybody. I don't see this being quick. I think there's two equal teams. Both have their strengths. Is the managers a play in this? I don't know. I doubt it. Um, I don't think either team's running game or small ball game. I think it's going to be who bludgeons each other to death and whose pitching staff keeps them from doing it. Again, I think if you're the Yankees, you need to keep these games 4-2, 4-3. If this gets into a blowout or high run producing games, I think it becomes tougher for the Yankees to win. I just don't see them consistently in the playoffs putting up those numbers. Now, again, I think if you're the Yankees and you jump out early, this is a tough series. But this has got a lot. This has got a lot of intrigue. Again, a ton of. There's Will Cloak. This has got a ton of history. I mean, I think these teams have played like 30 World Series together. I got to look it up. I thought I saw it in the paper. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, here's the problem. Again, it goes back to baseball. Hey, Will, what's up, buddy? Yeah, Jeff will be back in a minute, being around in a minute. He had to take care of something at home. He'll be on with me shortly. Will, glad to see I am on the air. We'll get to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Paul Diano, courtesy of my good friend Will Cloak, who reminded me about those things. We were already planning to do the Paul Diano thing, and we'll do that. I'll wait for Jeff on that, but I figure I'd talk some baseball. In the meantime, we'll talk a little Mets. Yo. I tell him to try it again. I just rebooted. But I think this is going to be a really good World Series. I think there's good pitching. There's a lot of star power. I wish this was back in the 80s or late 70s where these teams hated each other. The whole Willie Randall, Bucky Dent, Reggie Jackson Yankees, Thurman Munson Yankees, and the Ron Say, Steve Garvey, Dusty Baker, Bill Russell, Smith. Those guys hated each other, and it was so much more fun. It's the one thing about sports today that I really dislike, and it's the camaraderie. I get it. There's no rivalries. There's nobody hating anybody anymore, and you don't have to hate each other off the field, but you gotta hate each other on the field. It makes it better. It just does. The slides are a little harder. The emotions of the game, the passion of the game. I miss those days. But this one, again, while I don't think there's any hatred or passion or emotions on this one, other than wanting to win a game, this has got a lot of star power. So if you like baseball a little bit, this should be fun. I haven't seen the start times. I'll check it out a little later, but I haven't seen the start times for the game. Let me see if I can pick it up real quick. I think the West Coast game should be 8:00 at the best. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see what we got here on the paper. So let's see. So Friday and Saturday, 8:00. They're all 8:08 starts. They're all 8:08s. Remember, guys, land of the free lunch. Vote. Make sure you vote. Anyway. So again, I think we're looking at a really good series. 6 games, Yankee pitching versus Dodger hitting. Now, the one advantage the Yankee had, I keep saying it, is the Yankees can hit. I don't think the Dodgers can pitch well enough. Now, they beat the Mets, but they bludgeoned the Mets. They scored 30. It was at least 3 games with 30 runs. 10 runs a game. I mean, they bludgeoned the Mets, and they just outlasted the Mets. Hold on a second. Somebody, Will Cloak, you can see me and all that good stuff. Not that anyone wants to. She's home. Great. You have her home, man. Great. Yeah. So, what was I saying? So again, I'm looking forward to a great World Series. If you're a Yankee fan, Dodger fan, if you're a baseball fan, this one's got some juice. Yankees. I don't know. Does Kansas City, San Diego do it for everybody? No. If you're a baseball fan, you check in on it. It's just got no juice to it. Last year was what? Rangers. what was the National League team last year? Diamondbacks. That's not getting anybody to run to the TV screen. I watched a little bit of that series, and it was a good series. There's no star power, no juice. Yankees, Dodgers, LA, New York. This really has the makings of an epic series. So if you're a baseball fan, Dodgers Yankees start on Friday night. Hopefully we'll be recapping it next Thursday when we do the show. And hopefully we're recapping the Yankees' 28th World Series. It's been a while, 2009, since they got there and won one. So this is pretty cool. And I have to be honest with you, this has to be the most flawed Yankee team that I've watched. There's been better Yankee teams that never got to a World Series. This one, now everybody says, well, this one's playing good now. But this team all year, Torres was terrible until August. Stanton can't run 5 steps, has been just no help. Judge Soto, great season. Volpe was up and down. Rizzo missed most of the season. Wells had a great section of the season. Late August and September, and even into October has not been great. Pitching's been good. The bullpen's been sporadic. Clay Holmes was the closer. Now he's a piece. Luke Weaver, who didn't pitch great in the last series, but it's been great all since they put him in that role. This is a flawed Yankees team, and I don't want to get into next year yet. I don't want to start talking about who should be back and who shouldn't be back. I don't care at this point. What I want is, Will Cole, can you see me? Can you hear me? Are you there? If anybody's out there seeing it, I know my dad's trying to get on, and for some reason he can't. And I don't know if there's a problem with because I'm seeing myself on Facebook. 26 minutes. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I'm there. Anyway, I don't know. I just got to keep going, I guess. So anyway, it's an epic series. Should be fun. And make sure you guys check it out. And hopefully next Thursday night, Jeff and I could be breaking down the Yankees 28th World Series title. Yeah. Okay. Well, great. Thank you. All right. Let's do a little Mets. Again, I want to hold the music stuff, some of the base football stuff, till Jeff. You know what? We do a little Giants. By the time Jeff gets on, and we do Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and we do Paul Diano, and we do the Jets, it would probably be the end of the show. So the Giants. Very disappointing. And I'll tell you why. I watch bad football games in my day. I've seen a lot of bad Giant teams. I've seen enough of them. I've been a fan since '76. I've seen more bad football than good football. Luckily, thank you, my brother. Luckily, I've gotten to see some really great seasons. I saw 4 Super Bowl championships. I saw another Super Bowl appearance. I've seen some really good Giant teams. Not enough, but I've seen enough. I've seen a few. What I can't deal with as a football fan and as a Giant fan are teams that don't try or give up. That I can never deal with. You're playing a kid's game and you're getting paid even at league minimum $900,000 and more, probably closer to $1 million. I can't watch football that's uninspired. I can't watch football that the guys don't try or make an effort. Can't do it. So I'm watching Sunday, and I'm watching Deonte Banks for the second or third time that I saw, and it's blatant where he's avoiding making tackles or making plays. And there was one specific one where Jalen Hurts came around, turned the corner. He had the ability to get there, kind of pulled up, and he admitted basically that he didn't make the play. He thought about it, and this happened again in the CeeDee Lamb play. I mean, folks, a buddy of mine, Mike Klopsy, said to me the other day, it's really telling when you could pick it up from TV. And here's why, and he's 100% right. The TV is following the ball. There's a lot of stuff happening, but you're centered on the ball and the ball carrier. You're watching specific, and the camera's kind of, even with the big screen TVs, you're kind of narrowed in on that. So we were at the Cowboy Lion game a couple weeks ago, and you're watching it live, and you look up, and you're not watching the TV screen, so you're watching the play, and you're able to see things away from the football. And we picked up that one of the Cowboys, Stephon Diggs, was dogging it. There's no doubt. He just wasn't making tackles. He was shying away from everything. And now we started watching for it. But when you saw the replay of the TV, you barely didn't even see him in the screen. So when you don't see him in the screen, you don't realize why you're not seeing him in the screen, right? So as far as you know, he's getting blocked. He's out of the play. You're not paying attention. You don't see the fact that he dogged it or he wasn't making an effort or whatever you want to call it. Well, I'm watching the Giant game and I can see Deonte Banks doing this, and that's bad because he's on TV doing it, and you shouldn't have to see this every time. You the fact that you're picking this up means that it's happening a lot. So my problem with all that is he was never pulled from the game. Now I know there was a lot of injuries; they probably had to keep playing him, but after the CeeDee Lamb game. And after this, I got to be honest with you, as a Giant fan, I would have been happy if they pulled him out of the game, sat him on the bench, or even better yet, made him stand next to the coach and follow the coach around and put his helmet off the rest of the game. Stand there, just walk the sideline with the coach. And I don't care if you would have put a defensive tackle at corner. You're going to lose anyway. So, but let's send the message. And that's the one issue that I'm starting to have with Brian Daboll. Listen. Do I think they made a mistake with Daniel Jones? I have to start looking at it like, yeah, I think they might have made a mistake with Daniel Jones. They might have. Okay, I don't know environment. Hereditary. I don't know if Daniel Jones, if he had come up and played for the San Francisco 49ers, would be the best quarterback in the league. I don't know if either way he'd be what he is right now. He's inconsistent. He is lacking that killer instinct. Eli, as cool as Eli was, there was a ton of emotion. There was more to Eli than just super calm. And Eli threw the football. Now, again, Eli's a gunslinger, a lot of interceptions, a lot of touchdowns, and championships. I have been a Daniel Jones supporter for a while. I can't do it anymore. So I am not ready to jettison Daboll and Shane. I think they know how to build a team. I believe they know how to run a team. It might have to be blown up. They might have to get rid of a bunch of guys and get the right chemistry and environment here. Maybe coming in and not jettisoning a lot of the players hurt them, especially the quarterback. I don't know, but I will say that at the end of the day, they have to be on notice. And if you're gonna make the change at quarterback after this game or at some point, I don't want to see it to be Drew Lock. But getting back to my original thought, what I don't want to see is a team that quits. And Daboll is in danger of that. And to me, that's the biggest negative a coach could have, is to have his team quit, have his players not play hard. And if you don't take control of that situation, you will be on the outside looking in for a new job. Now, you can knock a lot of coaches. Tom Coughlin, guys hated him. They played hard for Coughlin. They won 2 Super Bowls with him. I think the team at most times played hard for Jim Fassel. But this team quit Sunday. The defense quit. The offense made no effort. I don't know what it was. They made no effort. Now, I don't know what they do in the locker room. The coach rips them up. I have no idea. I know the athletes, they don't like to be yelled at. They don't like to be scolded. They don't like to be critiqued and told what they can't do. Everybody wants a pat on the back. Everybody wants to be, hold on a second. I'm getting text messages. Okay. So I honestly don't know. So I'm not ready to jettison Daboll. I think he deserves it. I think changing coaches 3 years in, that cycle has to stop. I think you got the right coach, you got the right GM. Do they have to blow up the roster? I do. Should Daniel Jones be back at quarterback next year? Here's what I would say. The audition starts this week. And I would say the first week that he has if he doesn't put together 5 or 6, and I'm not talking about, 20 of 27, 180, 212, one touchdown. No, the Giants have to put up points. The Giants have to move the football. It's too many times this year, especially at home, no touchdowns, no offense. Does he have the greatest weapons? I don't know. The offensive line's been better. Now, this week, they were horrendous. We could knock the kid playing tackle for in Andrew Thomas's place, Izudu. But I saw Van Rotten getting completely run over at tackle by Jalen Carter. So, you get sacked 8 times. I don't care who you are. You're not having a good day. I don't care how well you throw the football or what you do. But at the same time, you have to make plays. When you're the quarterback, you got to find. I watched Eli Manning get killed in the NFC Championship game against the 49ers heading to the Super Bowl. I don't know how many times he was sacked, but he must have been hit 15 times. And at the end of the day, he stood in the pocket and he did enough to win the game. And Daniel Jones has to do that. So to me, Daniel Jones has to, at some point this year, take the leap to the next spot. Now, I don't know what's keeping him. Maybe this is all he is. Maybe he needs to change the scenery, go someplace else to be better. But if you're the Giants and you've decided that he's not the guy, maybe you want to stay away from the injury and having his guarantee kick in. Tommy DeVito, do not play Drew Lock. Do not play Drew Lock. I don't need to see Drew Lock. It's great for an emergency. But if I got to finish out the season, I'd rather have a little life in Tommy DeVito. Tommy DeVito did a decent job last year as a rookie, not knowing the playbook, 3-3, threw touchdowns, threw some nice passes. Yeah, a lot of bonehead plays, held the ball too long. That's a rookie. He's got another year under his belt in camp. I would rather see Tommy DeVito than Drew Lock. So if you're going to make the change, and I don't think you should, I'm not blaming all of this on Daniel Jones, but at the same token, Daniel Jones has to eventually take that next step, and he just hasn't. He's shown flashes. He's shown that he can be the guy. I watched him in 22, take them to the playoffs, win a playoff game on the road. I think that it's in him there. I don't know why right now he cannot put points on the board. I don't want to hear about Saquon Barkley because he didn't do it when Barkley was here either. He's got neighbors. The Giants drop way too many passes. Wan'Dale Robinson is just constantly dropping passes. Constantly dropping passes. And I like Wan'Dale. I think he's a good interior guy. But I would say if you're the Giants, when this season ended, there's a handful of guys I would worry about keeping. Obviously, Dexter Lawrence, John Michael Schmitz, I think has been pretty good. Obviously, Andrew Thomas, even though he can't seem to stay on the field. Neighbors. I like this kid, Tyrone Tracy. There's a handful of guys that I'm keeping. After that, I'm blowing this roster up. And if I was Mara, I let them do it. Blow it up. Listen, what I've seen, it's. I don't know why this team can't score points. I watch other games, and I think the Giants have some talent as the other team. I mean, 3 touchdowns, score 2 passing, a rushing touchdown, maybe get lucky with a special teams or a defensive turnover. I mean, the Giants score 4 touchdowns in a game. I have to look it up to see the last time it happened. There are games like Seattle, but again, think about Seattle. The Giants were ahead, couldn't put the game away, and won on a special teams play, a fluke special teams play. So this is not a team that's a juggernaut. So I don't know. Again, I'm very down on the Giants. Will I tune in Monday night when they play Pittsburgh? I will tune in Monday night when they play Pittsburgh because that's what I do. But I will tell you, much like the other night against the Eagle game, by the third quarter, I was gone. I was watching the Lions game. It was a better game. And again, I can't watch players dog it. I can't watch players give up. You are getting paid. You play every play like it's the Super Bowl. That's the way you got to play this game. And anything short of that is embarrassing. Why? Just look at raise the ticket prices. Look how much it is just to go to a game. Go buy a couple of tickets, pay for parking, get yourself a couple rounds of beers and food. See how much you spend. I went there. I went last year with my wife. I made the mistake of not dressing properly. I had to go buy a sweatshirt. It was $100 for a Giants pullover sweatshirt. $100. Probably could have gotten the store for $60. And even that, I think, is outrageous. It was $100. So beside paying for parking, beside, the tickets, tolls, gas, everything that goes with it. And we had a good time. The Giants won, and they beat the Redskins that day. She loved every second of it. At the end of the day, there's 80,000 plus in that place spending their hard-earned money to go to these games and watch that. It's, if I'm John Mara, I don't know how I don't explode. I'm sorry. If you're John Mara, I do not know how you don't explode at this point. I don't know why the Giants, they're a first-class organization. First class. Their facilities are great. They treat them well. I don't understand how they can't build a team. I mean, I'm not telling you they got to win 4 Super Bowls in 5 years. I'm not telling you they got to be the Chiefs. But at some point, you got to put productive team out there. I mean, Frisco, they're good for the last 4 years. The Lions have got steadily better over the last 3 or 4 years. 2, 3 years in a row now, they're a good team. The Cowboys every year winning 9, 10, 11 games, although this year they may suck. The Eagles do it. Why can't Buffalo's been good for a decade? The Patriots were good for 20 years. I think at some point, what might happen is they may get Bill Belichick as the team president, hanging over Shane and Dable. I don't know. I think Bill's back next year somewhere. I don't want Belichick coaching the Giants. He's 72 years old at that point. What can he do? 2, 3 years? We need to build a future. I think Dable's the right coach. I do. In my heart, I think the guy's a smart coach. I just wish team discipline was better. I wish they would hold people accountable. If you're dropping passes, sit on the bench and watch the guys who can catch. If you can't block, watch the guys who can block. Simple. If you don't tackle, watch the guys who do. See, and by doing that, you're attacking their money. You're attacking the money. That's it. That's all I can tell you. If you're a player and you wind up in week 4, 5, 6 on the bench, and then you get cut, teams are going to go, well, how come you didn't play for 7 weeks? How come he's on the bench for 10 weeks? There's no tape of you playing well. So, now you're that statistic of, well, I'd rather bring a fresh kid for a lot less money than pay this guy who has done nothing. So you have to attack their money. And by attacking that guy's money, you're letting everybody else on the team know, if you don't play, you ain't playing. and that's the bottom line. And that's what bothers me about this Giant team. And unless they step up and figure it out, we're going to be right back here, picking 8 or 9. Oh, and the other thing I don't want ever, if you're a Giant fan and you want anything to do with Shedeur Sanders, I will tell you flat out, if the Giants draft Shedeur Sanders, I am not watching another Giant game. I don't want to see Deion Sanders on the sideline. I don't want to see his kid anywhere near Giants. I'm sorry, he may be talented, and I'm telling you, he's overrated. He's a hell of an athlete, no doubt. But he's already pulling the big-time stuff in Colorado. Could you imagine in the pros what you're going to be looking at, a guy making a $20 million salary, a $30 million salary, whatever they're giving them rookies? No. Please, dear God in heaven, please hear me. Do not ever let the Giants draft Shedeur Sanders. Don't. I don't believe he'll be a good player. I watch him. He holds the ball way too long. He thinks he's his father. And Deion was a great cover guy. maybe the best ever. Now, again, I'll always say I think that the guy for the Jets, Darrelle Revis, was the best I saw because he tackled as well as his shutdown corner. But let's say Dion's a little bit better. His son thinks he's that guy now, and he's not. He's not. But when you grow up in that house, right? There's no shortage of there's no humility, so you think you're the best ever. And you're already making millions of dollars between the nils and commercials and everything else he's probably getting. So at the end of the day, I want nothing ever to do with him. And I hope the Giants, and they draft a quarterback, and they probably will, because even if Jones plays well, yes. Hold on. Yes, I am. Guys, I'm going to reboot this because I think. Hold on, hold on, folks. Okay, I'm back up. I don't know where. We got a couple people online. Again, I'm hoping. Let's see. Hopefully Jeff will get on here. We're 45 minutes in. Yeah, I mean it's. Hopefully Jeff. Yeah, so I mean we're here. I don't know if anybody's seeing me, but I'm definitely here. All right. I don't know what else to do, folks. All right, we'll see what happens. In the meantime, that's the Giants. Again, please, if you're the Giants, no Shedeur Sanders. But it's very disappointing at this point. I was hoping for a big year. I thought the signs were there. The offensive line was playing better. They were getting quality production from the running backs. But I don't know if it's a quarterback. I don't know if it's the receivers combination. I don't know what it is. But at some point, we need to figure it out. But again, guys, as soon as Jeff gets on, we'll do a little Paul Di'Anno tribute. That's right. The original singer for Iron Maiden has passed away at 66 years old. And, for most of you guys who don't know, Iron Maiden was the first metal band that I grew up with. I mean, in 1981, I believe it was. It could be in 82. I'm pretty sure it was 81, but I got Made in Japan. It was the first metal album I got. I was listening to the Cars and the Knack, Beatles stuff. I mean, my whatever my friends were listening to, I was listening to. And in high school, I think it was freshman year of high school, Christmas, Paul Gill got me Made in Japan. And from that day forward, I was all about metal, but I was all Iron Maiden. I then went back and got the first two albums. Well, I think at that point, the first album was out, and I think Killers was coming out. I think it was Iron Maiden, then Made in Japan. No, maybe I'm not sure now. I always thought that came out before. But anyway, and I was all metal. I went from wearing Sham shirts and Jordache jeans and what were those pants? Oh my God, not Sassoons, Sweetors. Oh my God, yeah. I went from wearing that stuff to wearing jeans and denim jackets and motorcycle jackets and, playing guitar. And I discovered Crazy Train and Blizzard of Oz and, Priest and Sabbath and, all Scorpions and Triumph and Rush. And I was all in. But it all started with Iron Maiden, and it all started with Paul Di'Anno. And I never got to see Maiden with Di'Anno. By the time I was old enough to go to my first concert, I want to say I snuck out to my first concert. I don't believe my dad knew that I went to see Iron Maiden with Joey Gandis and Jimmy Colicchio. That would have been, I think, 84. So I was 16. And I'm not sure. But we took the ferry over, me, Joey, and Jimmy. We got a gyro at the ferry. I think it was a gyro or a slice of pizza. And we bought our tickets. I think a one of the ticket places on Forest Avenue. And I think it was $20 we paid each, if I'm not mistaken, maybe. Yes. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, Jeff seems to be out. Anybody out there, if you're out there, just give me a type that you're seeing this and all that good stuff. Because for some reason, I feel like I'm by myself tonight, but I do see a couple people on. Anyway, so I'll have to ask Jimmy. But Jimmy and Joey and myself, we went to see the Peace of Mind tour. It was Maiden and Quiet Riot at the Madison Square Garden. And I was hooked, but I never got to see Di'Anno with them. By the time that come around, again, they were already 2 albums into Bruce Dickinson's tenure. No. Hey, Joey Cloak. Joe, you see me? Everything's good? Because whatever reason, Jeff, I don't see you. Yeah, everybody. Jeff, can you hear me on the radio? Okay, Joe, thank you. Yeah, for some reason, Jeff can't seem. I will send you another link. So I never got to see. By the time I got into Maiden, they were already 2 albums into the Bruce Dickinson era, and so I never got to see Di'Anno. But and I love the first 2 albums. No doubt about it. I love those first 2 albums. They are classics. But I would tell you, I am much prefer the Dickinson era. I like his vocals better. Now, there'll be some, and I'm sure Jeff will be that guy to say he doesn't like when Dickinson sings the early Maiden stuff. Send. Okay. I think I know what the problem was. Yeah. I think something up with Jeff. I don't know what it is, but let's see. Maybe I'll send one to my dad. Anyway, let's try to maybe see if Jeff gets on here now. So anyway, so having said all of that, I love that early stuff, and I do think that the natural progression of Maiden was what happened. I don't think they could have took that next step. You would never have heard Number of the Beast with Paul Di'Anno. Now, I don't know. You hear many reasons. Di'Anno was a druggie, hard to deal with. Di'Anno said they couldn't get along. They couldn't figure out where they want to go direction of the band. But there's no way you would have had Number of the Beast without Bruce Dickinson. You might have wrote an album like that, and here comes Jeff now.
Jesus Christ, man!
Yeah, I think there was something wrong with the link. So I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to see that Basil's home and in good spirits, I hope.
Yeah, she seems to be as good as somebody's going to be with a missing leg,
Yeah, what a shame. But I'm glad she's still here for you to enjoy, and hopefully she enjoys whatever life she has left. Same for all of us. And
I think she's going to be. The vet was very optimistic. I think she's going to be all right in the long run.
good.
We'll talk more about that off air.
Sure.
But everything is. What's up, Joe Cloak? Thank you.
Yeah,
it's looking good.
Good. Glad to hear it. So, Jeff, I did some baseball stuff, a little bit of the Giants. I want to get right into some music stuff with you. We'll talk the Jets. Maybe we'll double back if we got time.
Well,
But,
I got something I want to touch on baseball real quick.
Sure, go ahead.
Of course, I can't remember the exact number, but I believe that this is going to be the 12th time that the Dodgers and Yankees play for the World Series.
Okay, let's see if we can figure that out. But go ahead. Yep.
I imagine it has to be some kind of baseball record for most times a team faces each other in the World Series.
Hey, maybe, yeah.
You know, and we all know the Yankees hold the record at 27.
Yep.
So which is a cool thing, you know, a New York team.
Sure.
But it's nice to see a New York team. It would have been nice to see both teams in there. I think it would have really caught the interest of everyone more so. But it's nice to see the Yankees or Mets or both.
Well, I did start that off by saying that. Let's see. I said that, but I think it would have been great around here for that to have happened. But I think nationally, most people would have said, okay, so they've played 11 times. It's been 43 years since it does. With round 12 on deck, here's a full break. So they've played 11 times over the years.
11 times. So this is number 12.
That's what this article says. It's number 12.
Well, that's quite an accomplishment, I feel, no?
Oh yeah, sure. Listen, I'd have to take a look and see how many times other teams have played, but
that's got to be I would think it's got to be the record, no?
I would think so. I mean, some of those early years, it's possible that some teams played each other quite a bit. I just can't remember. I can't imagine anybody's played each other 12 times. Oh wait, a tie between Yankees, Cleveland, Yankees, Giants at 7. This would be 12. This would be the 12th meeting in the fall class between the other. Well ahead of second place. So yeah, second place is Yankees and Cleveland. They've played 7 times, and Yankees and the Giants 7
times in the World Series.
That's what it says. This would be the 12th meeting in the fall classic between New York and LA. Well ahead of second place on the list. A tie between Yankees, Cleveland, and Yankees, Giants. 7 series apiece.
Well, I always thought the Yankees and Cleveland were always in the American League.
I think the Yankees lost to Cleveland in the 57 World Series. So Cleveland must have been in the National League up until that point. So I'd have to look that up. But that I do remember the Yankees. Well, Cleveland won. No, see, I'm wrong about that. Cleveland won their only World Series in 1954, and it wasn't against the Yankees. So I don't know if this article is 100% correct, but yeah, all I could say is that's what the article says. So anyway, so good, Jeff. Finish. You were talking about how good the series might be.
Oh no, just it's nice to see the Yankees in it, and it's you know, a continuation. But unfortunately,
yep,
there's also a little bad link to this,
which is,
and somebody said that the Dodgers have a ghost, and that's Fernando Valenzuela.
Yeah.
Dies on the eve of the World Series, and
63 years old.
Jesus Christmas, huh?
Yeah, you know,
Yankee killer 40-something years ago, but
yeah,
is he coming back to help the Dodgers? You know,
well, you know, they could use the pitching help because they're not a good pitching team.
Well, I don't think he's going to be pitching, but he may haunt the stadium. That's for sure.
Yeah, that was Fernando Mania was one era. It was a very short-lived mania. But I remember living through that, and he just was, he was this lovable, chubby guy who had a real weird wind-up and all the stuff, and obviously they went out and won the World Series with him, and it just was amazing. But yes, it's a shame that he passed away on the eve of this World Series, and it's probably down. But yeah, if you're a Dodger, you're probably sitting there saying, "All right, come on." Angel in the outfield or Angel on the mound, and
I would think,
yeah. But other than that, this is an interesting series, Jeff, because if you ask me, it's the Yankee pitching versus the Dodgers hitting. The Yankees have not hit as well as the Dodgers had. The Dodgers just bludgeoned the Mets. The Mets just couldn't keep up. The Dodgers pitching is so-so. It's okay. It's not terrible. The Yankee hitting is okay. It's so-so. They've hit much better. But this comes down to how well the Yankees pitch and how well the Dodgers hit that pitching. If one does better than the other, this will go that way. I think it's Yankees in 6. I think their pitching is just too good. Their bullpen's a little better, and the Yankees have enough hitting to win this series. They have better hitting than the Mets do. Judge and Soto haven't even had to carry this team, and if they find a way to get hot. But, Jeff, this has all the superstars. You have Soto, Judge, Ohtani, Freeman, Yamamoto. This has got stars. It's West Coast, East Coast, Yankees, Dodgers. If you're even the slightest baseball fan, or even if you're not, this is one that you kind of want to watch. I just wish there was at least one afternoon baseball game. They're all 8 o'clock at night.
Time?
They're all 8:08 starts.
Jesus Christ, huh?
Yeah. Now I get the first couple of games. I get it. The first couple of games are in LA. It's a Saturday night. You're gonna have nice weather. I mean, the weather in New York over the next week or so is still going to be in the 80s. They're talking about 80s and 70s.
It's disgusting.
So nighttime baseball's 50 something degrees, 60 degrees. This is if you're going to write up a script, two good teams, the two best teams in their leagues, stars galore. I mean, think about this internationally. Ohtani is huge. So you're getting that whole market of Japan and South America, and then you get the Yankees, the biggest brand in the world. Boy, again, I just tell anybody, if you're even the slightest fan, tune in a little bit, watch a few innings, maybe catch a little bit of it. This should be a good World Series. Again, I'm predicting Yankees in 6, but I'm biased, Jeff.
Oh, listen, I hear you. I mean, listen, New York guys. I'm not a baseball fan, you know that, but I mean, I would love to see the Yankees win, of course. But I'm going to use something that you said to lead something. I didn't want to. I had a lot going on this week.
Yes.
As you know, I had a lot of worries and everything else going on.
Sure.
Hopefully, that's all over with now.
But right.
I was going to bring something up to you.
Go ahead.
I was going to bring back for the winter months, the lean months here as we're entering.
Okay.
And that was the not what if, but I'm going to put you in a situation.
Oh, nice. I love what ifs. Go ahead.
So here's the situation. I want you to pick, and I want you to tell me why.
Go ahead.
Okay. You are Tommy. Now you can go down 2 different roads. We got 2 different roads to talk about. Road A is you as a fielder, outfielder, infielder, whatever position you want to play.
Mm-hmm.
You're down 3-0, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th, 7th game. Do you want to be the person that is closing it out as the relief pitcher? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever it is, you're at home.
Okay.
Well, evidently, if it's the bottom of the 9th, you wouldn't be pitching unless you're.
Well, you could be. You could be.
No, I'm going to give you the victory at home.
Okay. So victory at home. Okay.
Or the goat at home.
Okay.
One way or another, it's happening at home. Or do you want to be the one that hits the game-winning grand slam?
Wow.
Do you want to be the one to strike out the best hitter in the league, whoever he may be in your mind? You're up there. You got 103-mile-an-hour heater. It's like the only thing that you could throw.
So do I want to be
shoelaces untied, and there you come out of the bullpen.
Wow.
And you got 1 inning to go. But they took you out. They shaved you. There's 2 outs, bases loaded. They're bringing you in. Or do you want to be the guy heading over to the batter's box?
Oh, wow. That's a juicy one. That's juicy. I like that. Wow. That's a great question. It really is, because, wow. Oh, boy. I guess I would have to go. Yeah.
Oh, and just one other thing, too.
Okay.
Just to sweeten the deal a little bit.
Oh, please.
If you choose the batter, okay, you're going to hit an upper deck moonshot that's probably going to take 3 days to land, okay? And it's going to be one of the most iconic calls ever. If you choose the relief pitcher, it's going to be 3 straight strikes, right down the middle to the best hitter in the league, triple Triple Crown, a winner for the year, and you just smoke them out. And your face, your likeness will be on the back page of the Post and Daily News and everything else for every paper in the city saying that that's who won the World Series. So that's your choices, man.
Wow. Here's the thing for me. I'd have, like Reggie, I'd have to see, and I was going to say, do I want to be Goose Gossage or do I want to be Reggie Jackson? And I'd have to say it'd have to be the hitter, and only because I've had that dream a million times in my life. Growing up, every time I played wiffle ball or little league or a little bit of high school, you always thought about, like, you want that shot. I want to be up in it. I never ever had the thought of, all right, I want to be on the mound and close it out. So I'd have to say hitter. To me, that is the biggest spot in the world. You're digging in. The guy's up there looking to throw gas at you. I'd have to say hitter. I'd want to be the guy at bat trying to hit the ball 450 feet.
Yeah, I hear you.
I never imagined myself in a little bit of pitching I did was never anything special. So I'd have to say hitter. Yeah, that's a really fun question. That's a fun question because
it is a pretty
because think about that.
Think about because
you're coming in with the chance to shut the other team down. You're Kirk Gibson. Yeah, you're coming in to save the game. And most of the time when you're celebrating, it's the pitcher on the mound, whether it's Goose or Mike Torres in other years. To put the nail to Mariano Rivera, to be Mariano. That's a great question. I'd like to see what the people thought.
Yeah, I guess it depends. Like you said, a relief pitcher is an underrated thing right now.
Oh yeah.
And I noticed, speaking of relief pitchers, because of the video game on PS5, there's a new stat now with relief pitchers called holds.
Oh yeah, okay. You held the lead, or you held
the lead, or you held them off, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, very easy to figure out, but sure. I mean, is there a necessity for that?
It is, Jeff. It's all. I heard Bucky Dent being interviewed this morning on Sid Rosenberg's show, 770 at 6 a.m. Bucky was on about 8 o'clock, and Rosenberg was asking him about the series and the Dodgers, and he said it's such a different game today. He said as a hitter, when I played, he said it wasn't about hitting the home run; it was about driving in the run or getting the guy on base. He said when he hit the home run against the Red Sox, he didn't even know he hit a home run until he was getting near second base and the umpire was spinning his finger. He said, because I never thought I was hitting a home run. He said, we didn't hit home runs like that back then. He said, today it's all about stats. It's all about exit velocity, an arc angle. And the point of it is baseball today is all about the stats. They want to put something out there to entice the kids to show up to watch it. And they just keep creating all these different things. And at the end of the day, I just say two things matter. How many times did you get on base? How many times did you score? And how many times did you score somebody? And that's what's all. That's baseball. And how many times did you shut the other guy down? Everything else to me is all meaningless shit. Just analytics.
You gotta understand something. Baseball. I'm not going to say it's a dying sport because that's not the correct thing to say.
Right.
It's a different kind of sport. There's the casual fan that like with his friends, he's having a beer and watching the game, or there's the diehard fan, somebody like your dad, who is a diehard baseball fan that's going to watch every pitch of every single game in the World Series, whether it goes 4 or 7.
Yeah.
But what baseball's trying to do now, hey man, how are you, Lou Pica?
So good morning.
In my eyes, is trying to entice the video game people. Okay, now. I know that you recently got a PS5. You're playing baseball, or
I got a little frustrated because I can't hit.
Yeah, you got to do yourself a favor, lower the difficulty for 3 or 4 seasons, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm putting up basketball numbers, bro. I'm beating teams 22-4. I'm not ever looking back. This is the Yankees versus a T-ball team, and they're just killing it. But it is cool watching the video game when you hit a home run and it's like, they show the line like they used to for the hockey on Fox Network.
Yeah.
You see the arc and you see the ball come this way and turn. And there's some cool features with it.
Okay.
I mean, meaningless stats in baseball, of course, but it's got to be to grab the video game people.
Sure,
It has
I would
to be.
agree. I would agree with
It's a
you.
video game stat. How hard I've hit ground balls that were 108 miles an hour. I'm like, are you telling me that these guys are doing this in real life? Because fuck you, I would never be a second baseman or
Well,
shortstop.
that's what I always thought it was meaningless. But the only thing I always thought about that was to realize how hard the ball is. I mean, I've seen a couple times guys hitting 108 miles an hour ground balls to short, just hitting rockets, and you're going like, how did that guy make that play? Think how fast that ball's on top of you, and one bad bounce and your life's over.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I just saw a picture of Nolan Ryan. He got hit in the mouth.
I saw the picture too.
With a ball, okay?
Yeah.
I forget the ins and outs. It was in a game. It foul ball or something, or a ground ball, and he got hit in the lip, and he was bleeding.
And he went right out there and was pitching again. Yeah, I saw the same picture.
He didn't even get stitches until after the game.
Yep.
He finished the game. Now you got a pissed off, bloody Nolan Ryan on the mound.
Yeah.
No, it's just I want out, But imagine that, like 100 and something miles an hour, and they want you to stand in front of it, block the ball. Fuck you, block the ball.
You block the ball.
Standing in front of that. That's insane.
I hear you, man. I hear you. But it should be a great series. Starts Friday night in LA. Again, Yankees in 6. Yankee pitching versus Dodger hitting. That's what this comes down to. If the Yankees find a way to string together runs, they'll win this series. But the Dodgers can hit. That's a tough lineup. There's guys who hit all up and down there. And when your leadoff guy's got 50-something homers and 50 stolen bases, that's a tough team. So they just don't pitch as well as the Yankees. And hopefully Rodon, Cole, Schmidt, Heel, and the bullpen, we'll have some fun and celebrate number 28. And there'll be a parade up the Canyon of Heroes. I can't wait to see. Today was the New York Liberty, the women's basketball.
Yes.
They shut down the lower part of Manhattan, and I'm curious tomorrow, maybe after the show I'll look it up, how many people actually went to the parade. Last year, the Mercury, I think that's Minnesota, I'm not sure where they're from, they won it, and they showed the parade, and there were probably more cops on the street than people actually watching the parade.
Well, listen, I don't watch basketball at all, but
I get it.
The WNBA, but it has picked up steam.
Oh no, listen, it's better. Caitlin Clark has really rejuvenated that league and probably even saved it. But I'm wondering how many people, like usually when the Giants or the Mets or anybody wins the World Series, Super Bowls, whatever, they have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people lining Broadway. You look up and it's a sea of humanity down the side streets, and people just want to get a glimpse and say, I'm just curious to see if that's what showed up today.
I don't know. I'm telling now that you got me interested in or curious about it.
I'll have to look it up on YouTube. I'm sure somebody will post that. But Jeff, I was just getting to Paul Di'Anno, and I want to give you a chance to kind of get your perspective. For me, real fast on it again, so you can hear it. Di'Anno, to me, was the first singer I ever heard in the metal world. I got Made in Japan. I had put on a thing, and I had bought All In. And while I love the first 2 albums, they're 2 of my favorite albums of all time. I am a more Dickinson era Maiden guy. I know you're more of the other world, but so I never got to see Di'Anno live. But it struck a chord. Like there's certain things that strike a chord with you when somebody passes away. And for me, it was that, oh boy, this is a guy at 12, 13, 14 years old that got me into not only Iron Maiden, but heavy metal. This was the guy whose voice drove me to my passion of the music I love and a stack of albums. And it really did strike a big chord. He's been off the music scene for as far as I'm concerned. I read his book. The guy was a maniac. But when I think back to those days of Remember Tomorrow and Sanctuary and Iron Maiden, it's always going to be Paul Di'Anno. And it struck a chord today, this week for me when I realized he had passed away. And you say, boy, oh boy, we're not getting any younger. So for me, what's your when you hear that? What was your first thoughts?
Well, of course, it was sad to hear, but like you said, I was. I'm not going to lie and say I was into metal and everything at the time, but I was starting to listen to music a little bit more. And you and your brother definitely got me into listening to Maiden.
Mm-hmm.
And while I like the Bruce Dickinson stuff too, I love that also, of course. Number the Beast and everything else that he came out, he took the band to another level.
Absolutely.
That band wouldn't have been able to get to that level without Paul Di'Anno and what he did. And you got to wonder, if they didn't get rid of Paul Di'Anno, would they have gone in a different direction, and would Maiden have been the band they are today? If they had put out, say, one more punk-like album.
Well, let me ask you a question. If they had tried to put out Number the Beast type stuff with Di'Anno, would it have been the same?
No, definitely not.
Yeah,
definitely not. It would have been a different band, without a doubt. And I don't even think Di'Anno wrote that much stuff. I know he wrote some stuff.
I don't know the answer. I think he wrote a lot of the words on the first album. Now, I don't know about the second album. I think if you went back and looked at some of those of the albums and the rise, I bet you he wrote a good part of the words, because it's so different from what comes later on out of Steve Harris. You know what I mean? So I would think that's the case. I'd have to look it up though. But yeah, it's definitely would have been a much different band.
There's one thing I gotta say. I'm looking at it now because I had to check it out. Somebody sent it. I found it. Okay, this is definitely it. Here's a picture of video of Paul Di'Anno. I'm going to send it to you.
Okay.
He's playing. He's in the wheelchair.
Okay.
He's all fucked up and everything else, because you said that he wasn't in the music scene. And I got to tell you, he was playing in front of a pretty big crowd.
Oh, I sent that to you.
Yeah, you did.
I sent you a copy of him in a wheelchair. I think he was singing Sanctuary.
I don't know what he was singing, but
yeah, I sent it to you the other day.
Okay, that was the one. Is you could see his leg and stuff.
Yeah. And then they played to the crowd. Yeah. Yeah, no,
Steve Harris is kind of the one in charge. He's definitely the one that makes the major decisions in that band.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about it. But I Maiden dedicated a show to him, but they should have did a song from one of the band's 2 albums. Yeah, I think the one thing I wish, and I was that they had at some point brought him back and let him sing with the band one more time. I think it would have been nice to do that. I always think at this point in time, you kind of got to look. You have to look back a little bit and kind of celebrate. Obviously, listen. 1 minute he was there, the next minute he was gone. Right, never to be heard, never to be seen in the Maiden world again. I know Maiden helped pay for some of his later health issues, so I think the band did the right thing. But I would have loved to have seen them bring him back, and you're getting to be 50 years here. And the thing, I think it would have been a nice thing to drag him out on the stage. Now it was sad to watch. I saw that. I sent that video to you because, I think it was sad to watch him in the chair. Trying to be all metal, get one leg missing. It just was.
He had both legs, bro.
Did he have both legs? I thought he had lost
his right leg was like 4 times the size of his other leg. And if you noticed in the video, he was wearing a Ramones shirt.
Yes,
so
I did.
Definitely came from the punk world without a doubt.
That was his influence, and that's why I think I think either way, whether it was the drugs or the fact that I think Harris wanted to go a different direction, which what you saw and keep seeing from Maiden. And again, I wish they wouldn't have strayed that far to where they are now, but that's for a different conversation. My question to you is, and Will and Joe and anybody else listening, and you're an Iron Maiden fan, did Paul Di'Anno sing on the 2 best Maiden albums?
Oh my God.
Come on, Zip.
Oh my God.
Did he, listen, there are some who will say that Peace of Mind was the decline. Now, I think there's a great Peace of Mind's a great album. It's got a lot of great stuff on it. I think the apex is Number the Beast. I think the Beast album, some of that stuff is just classic gold. Hallowed Be Thy Name and Run to the Hills, and obviously Number the Beast and Charlotte and 22 Acacia. But did Paul Di'Anno really sing on the two best Maiden albums. There's some that say the first album was good but not great, and the argument is it Killers and Number of the Beast? Is it, you know, 1 and 2 versus 3 and 4? You know, what Jeff Towinski, I'm going to add. I'm going back and forth all week on this one. I've changed my opinion 3 times.
Well, I got to be honest with you. One, I don't think that they put out a bad album until they went to Somewhere in Time.
I would agree.
And I just don't really like the album. I didn't like the sound of the album and everything else with the synthesizers. I think they rebounded nicely with Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, a loud, full sounding album. And I would think that anything after that, there was songs here and there that I liked, but I couldn't sit and listen to that whole album. As far as the first 2 albums, you have to separate the band at that point in time. And it's just like Sabbath with Ozzy and Sabbath with Dio. You got yourself a more polished version of Iron Maiden.
Yes.
With Dickinson, just like you got a more polished version
but
of
is
Black
it better?
Sabbath with Heaven and Hell. What's that?
Correct. But is it better than the first? Like the first 2 albums were grungy, was dirty, was filthy, and I agree with you. Beast was polished. Beast was them at their greatest. But was it better than the first 2 albums? I got to tell you, I don't think it was.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't because you listen to the first 2 albums and you say to yourself, you got the first album, Prowler, Transylvania, Remember Tomorrow, Phantom of the Opera. All of these songs, you go to the second album, Killers, Rat Child, Innocent Exile. They all had something that there was bass that was just blasting in your face. You know, when they did Number of the Beast, it was more of them like they were growing, and they grew a different way. And it's like they kind of, all right, we're going to go this way. And they kind of narrowed the lane down a little bit. And they were definitely more polished. I got to go with the first 2 albums, man. I have to.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I'd say, you know, if I put it up against the 2, because I think there's a step down at Peace of Mind, because I love Peace of Mind. Don't get me wrong. First concert I ever went to, it's a good album, really good album, but I don't think it's a great album.
Peace of Mind?
Yeah.
Peace of Mind is definitely I think it's definitely a great album.
Okay.
But I also think that Peace of Mind started off maybe a little bit with the not concept album. It's not a concept album.
No.
But more of the progressive stuff.
Well, that's where it started. To me, that's the official start. Was that is To Tame a Land on that? What's the
yes.
To Tame a Land is where it all started.
Yeah. Yes, it has.
Yeah.
But that's a great album. A great song. There's a lot of stuff. Where Eagles Dare. John Lisa likes Where Eagles Dare, I would believe, if you remember that. You know?
Yeah.
And Power Slave is a good album. And it was, know, progressive. When they did Rhyme in the Ancient Mariner, a 13-minute song, that opened up. That's not an album, not a song that I could listen to all the time.
Once in a blue moon.
Yeah, it was definitely the start of something that maybe should never have been.
Yeah, I think that was the door opened, and that's where it did, because from that point on, it got more and more progressive. I'd love to see Maiden try to go back to a whole album of like 3.5, 4.5 minute songs, you know, back in the Galloping days, and see what they would do with that. You know, it's very hard to go back to that after you've turned to where they are now. So, but listen, we can all argue and talk about what our favorites are. I love the Beast album because it's perfect. Number of the Beast album is a perfect album. But having said that, it's stark in contrast because of the singing styles, and Killers was an equally great album. And I don't think there's no Iron Maiden without Paul Di'Anno on those first 2 albums.
Oh, I got to agree.
Yeah. So
let me ask you this. Let's say the first 2 Di'Anno albums were put out not with to the extent that they are now. They say it's like almost like the Soundhouse tapes. It's hard to find, We've heard about it. We know about it. They played some of the songs once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But the first major release that you're easily accessible to get was Number of the Beast.
Yeah.
Iron Maiden become the band they are today if Number of the Beast was their first album.
Oh, good question. Wow, that's a really good
Out of
question.
the gate with Number of the Beast.
Yeah, that's a boy, that's a tough question. I'd like to say yes, but I don't know. Because I think at that point they would have fell into the middle of the pack. I think that the first album caught your attention, and then Killers was like, boom, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like that to me. Yeah, that's a real tough one for me. I'd have to say no. I'd have to say if it wasn't for the first album, and I think it's obviously also a big part of Maiden is Eddie. It's always going to be that. But I think those first two albums really catch you with his singing style and Killers and Rat Child is one of the greatest songs of all time. I mean, just a great bass line, catches you right from the start. That to me, there's no Maiden without Killers. If Killers isn't first before Number of the Beast, I don't think there's the Maiden you have today. No.
I think as far as the Eddie Killer goes,
yep,
he was a big stage presence. We know that.
Sure.
He showed that over and over and over again. Reinvented him. But once they got to Somewhere in Time and Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, I think they were kind of shied away from Eddie. I don't think Eddie has the same weight that he once did. He comes out because he's supposed to come out, but I don't think he holds the same weight. And then I don't think today's Maiden is the same as it was 30 years ago because of Yannick Gears and 3 guitar players. Dickinson left, Smith left, they come back. I'm not the new stuff. I couldn't name an album. I couldn't name albums, much less songs.
Well, yeah, we've talked about it. The Maiden of today is not where I want it to be. Again, we talked about next year. They're coming around. They're going to be doing a classic set, retiring some stuff. So, but yeah, I think the bottom line is Maiden doesn't go forward to where they reached the pinnacle with Di'Anno, but there is no Maiden without Di'Anno. I think that's the consensus here.
I could
because I don't think they would have written Killers with Bruce. You would have gotten an earlier version of Number of the Beast.
Well, you listen to some of the songs that I've heard, at least with Bruce Dickinson on album and releases. I've heard them do Remember Tomorrow. All of a sudden, Di'Anno dies. Everybody's saying Remember Tomorrow. Yeah. I posted a clip, a YouTube video of the Hard Rocket Sports Band doing Remember Tomorrow.
Yep.
I think like 2 people fucking said something about it. Nobody even mentioned it. And then everybody's talking about Remember Tomorrow. And I'm like, hey, here it is. We're doing it. And we did it good.
Yes.
Nobody said anything. I'm like, you motherfuckers.
And it's funny. I've seen a lot. It's a long time since I have. But back in the day, I saw a lot of island bands. I saw a lot of people practicing. I never saw a band play that song before.
No, I love that song from the first time that I heard Made in Japan. I like that song. And I would love to be able to hear it again. But it's impossible to find Made in Japan. Like, I can't stream it.
I have it.
You got it?
I have the album. I have the original one I got 40-something years ago. I opened the show. I opened up my segment about it to say the very first album I ever got that was a metal album was an Iron Maiden album, and it was made in Japan. Paul Gill bought it to me for Christmas. I think it was freshman year. Could have been sophomore year. Freshman or sophomore year, I got Made in Japan, and from that point on, I was a Maiden fan, and I went from wearing sham shirts and Sweetors to jeans and denim jackets.
Well, I still have that album too. I have it at home.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I have the album.
Oh, okay.
I don't know the condition it's in. It's in my shed. It's been in my shed. I mean, the only redeeming thing may be is that it was laid flat.
Okay.
So it may have enough weight on it that it didn't warp, but
no, I just listened to it not too long ago. It had to be about 3-4 months ago. I was going through the Maiden collection, and that was one I played. But that is the very first album I ever got, and that's, to me, Five songs, I think, or 6 songs. Most
Five
on there.
songs.
5 songs, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and to me, and it wasn't even the songs that got me. I would tell you that the very first thing, obviously, is Eddie on the cover with the samurai sword, and I was hooked. And I went home and I listened to it 100 times, and then I went out and bought. But I'm going to guess it might have been Killers or maybe the first time. I can't remember after that, but sad to see Di'Anno go. Had a very tough life at the end, and I think a lot of it brought on himself. The guy was just not a healthy guy. A lot of drugs in his life, and it's an era that changed my life and probably put me on the path of friendships. I mean, without that music stuff, there's a chance that maybe I'm not friends with you and your brother and Joey to this day, because that kind of brought us all together. I mean, while we were, friends, it was playing in bands together that really drove us as close. I mean, the first memories I think of when I think of Joey and yourself was running around Rosebank, grabbing carpets, somehow finding carpets in the weeds.
Yeah, I just looked up Made in Japan on music. Okay, here is one album, $36.99. Heavy Metal Army, Made in Japan Live, vinyl. Okay, only 3 left in stock. $399. $399.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have my original, so I could.
Wow.
Yeah. So listen, someday somebody will inherit the collection and they can do whatever they want with it. I don't know, but
the sad part is that some of this stuff that we have that people don't know, and the stuff that we've been holding on to for years, whatever it may be, toys, posters, whatever. All right, they're gone, it's gone. You know what I mean? They're just gonna throw it right the fuck out.
Yeah.
So what song do you remember listening to that really like wow, this is something different, this
has to be a Maiden song or any metal song?
Of Maiden.
Oh boy, I would say it's probably Number of the Beast. I would say I remember the first time I heard. I'm gonna say you and I went to our music center and came back with Number of the Beast, and I was living on Tompkins Avenue, and I remember the first time you heard the whole, woe to you, O earth and sea, and then also, and I remember like goosebumps. Like I got to learn that song. Like I want to play that song, and I never could. So just for the record, I just for the life of me,
song.
I just learned it the last couple of weeks. I've been playing it a lot, but just I don't know, for some reason I wanted to force myself to learn that song. But anyway, that's the one for me. It was that song. Like I just can remember the first time I heard it, and the goosebumps from hearing that song and being like, Dickinson scream and the whole, just one of the pure great metal songs of all time. How about yourself?
I'm looking at this right now. I'm trying to say, that the first song on that album was not Number of the Beast.
No, it's not.
It was Invaders.
Yes, great tune.
Yeah, of course, a great tune. Of course.
Oh, God.
I'm just looking real quick because it's Invaders, Children of the Damned, Acacia Avenue, Number of the Beast, Run to the Hills, The Prisoner, Gangland, and Hallowed Be Thy Name. Now, all excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. I don't know why.
Probably Run to the Hills is probably the weakest song on that album, and it's the only one that was probably commercially a hit.
Really, you think so? I love The Prisoner was just.
Prisoner's I know you don't like that song, but that is a great tune.
Children of the Damned, man. I'm not a big fan of that either.
I know you're not. And I think as the Hard Rocket Sports Band, we might have played 3/4 of that album.
We played.
We did Children of the Damned. We did, right?
Acacia Avenue. We played The Prisoner.
We did Invaders.
We did Invaders. Yeah. That's with Carl Bolero.
Yes, with Carl Bolero. Yes.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. We played. Might have done Run to the Hills.
We might have done Run to the Hills, but then I know we didn't do Gangland. We didn't do obviously Number of the Beast.
No, I don't know it. And we didn't do Children of the Damned either.
No, yes, we did.
As the Hard Rock and Sports Band?
Yes, with Jimmy, we played Children of the Damned because I did the solos. One of the few solos I ever did.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Yes.
you have a better memory than me if that's the
Yes.
case, because I don't remember doing it. But
Now, hold on. I'll say this. Hold on. Let me say this. I'm not sure it ever made it into a official set. We definitely did it in a bunch of practices. Now, I don't remember specifically if it made its way into an actual benefit. So, I'll temper that to say that I know we practiced it a bunch of times. I don't know if it was one of those songs where we said, all right, take that out last minute. You know, we were very famous for that.
yeah. I hear that. There was a lot of songs like that happened that way, without a doubt. But that's all right. That's what made it fun, because we continued to put fucking more pressure, unneeded pressure on ourselves. And Will, I gotta ask, why? Why The Prisoner? Because
I agree with Will. I agree. It's got such a great groove, man.
To learn and to get down for whatever reason. I hated that song, man.
Oh man, I've always loved that song. I just think the rhythm to that song, oh my god, it just gets you every time. It's like that album is so classic. But you know, if you go back to Killers, it's just as classic. It's just total. Think about how different two albums can be.
Oh, definitely.
And two great albums from the same band. You know, this isn't like, you know, Killers is number 2 and then Number of the Beast was number 6. This was numbers 2 and 3, and they were completely different albums.
Yeah.
And think about it, Jeff. Think how great band Maiden was. You had two completely different sounding style albums that were all-time classics.
Well, I just want to answer Frank real quick. Frank, thank you for checking in all the time and asking how Basil's doing. She's home now. We just picked her up a little while ago. My wife, while I was on the air, sent me a video because when we had her home, she shit like twice in a week, and that was it. So we had to get a celebratory shit video, and I'm more than happy to watch that dog shit at this point in time. It means that she's eating and feeling good and everything's working, and it's just a matter of her healing up. And their prognosis is very good at this point in time. She was very happy to see the cat, which was actually kind of cute watching the two of them. The cat was happy to see her. And everything is all right in the world right now because I got the dog back. She's downstairs relaxing with my wife. My wife is happy, but thank you. You and Tommy, you each asked several times during the week. And I know, Frank, I know you're a dog lover, so I really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
It's all part of the family, man. It's all part of the family. Hey, how about we try introducing Remember Tomorrow into the big Christmas jam? What do you think? Think Jimmy go for it?
Listen, is Jimmy coming?
Yeah, Jimmy said yes. Everybody's coming, but Joey and Ronnie Morms isn't up in the air.
Fucking yeah.
I'd say we should try to drag it out. I know I don't know if any of the singers will know it, but I'm sure somebody can wing it. I'm sure Drew or somebody can get it down.
I bet you Drew would know it.
Yeah, that's a song that needs vocals. Like that's not one you can work your way through. That the slow part of that song needs the vocals. But that there was probably 3 or 4 songs as the Hard Rock and Sports Band that we nailed, and that's one of them. That one, Metal Gods. Even though I hated playing it.
Really?
Oh, I hated playing that song.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why, but it was a great song to play because we played it well. It had a great rhythm. I was never a fan of the song, but I loved playing it as the band. The Sabbath tune.
Which one? NIB?
NIB. We that one, and in the Sharon era, the obviously the other Sabbath tune.
Heaven and Hell.
Heaven and Hell. Those are songs that no matter we could have got together once every 5 years and we would have played those well. I don't know if people would say they were great, but we always played those songs well.
They handled some of them very well. Another Piece of Meat.
Oh yeah, that's another good one. Yes,
that was another one that we did pretty well.
Yes. Shoot 'Em Down was another one.
Yeah.
Shoot 'Em Down. Good band, good shit. But
I have a set list someplace.
Do you really?
At least one, yeah.
Oh wow.
I got it with a bunch of other papers and set lists and everything else, but I don't remember the whole set list that we did do at that time. I don't know if you do.
Oh, and the other one we always did well was Lights Out.
Yes, which Lights Out. Middle-aged delinquents is going to be doing that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we caught our singer, maybe flubbing a little bit.
Oh, really?
She didn't want to learn it. She didn't like the song.
Really?
It's a song that she wants to do, and I told her, I was like, I know it, but I can conveniently forget it if you don't learn that song.
How could you not like Lights Out?
I'll learn it.
Lights Out is such a great song. It's just a killer tune, man.
Yeah, Lights Out by UFO, man.
Oh yeah. Well,
hey, bonus points to anybody that knows what that song's about.
I have no idea.
There's two theories about what that song's about.
My first theory would be about the days of bombings and they shut the lights out. That would be my theory. But
yes, in World War II.
Okay.
And then the second one was the gas crisis, the fuel crisis that happened in England.
Oh, really?
In the 70s, yeah.
Interesting.
So I don't know what you guys think, Tommy, what you just said, what you thought.
Yeah.
I'd like to go that way because I know that England got the shit bombed out of them.
Yes. Yes.
You know, so that's a
yeah, that would have been my theory. I've been working on some of the set list. I added some new tunes on there. Hopefully, some people I want to learn the song that Paul put up there today.
What song did Paul put up?
By the Ataris, "The Boys of Summer."
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a punk version.
Yeah, I know which one it is. It's you know who does that? American Cover Story.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, there's a line. I was playing with this other band for a while. They were called No Remorse. It didn't work out. Thank goodness. But that's a story for another day. But, we were playing that song and they made it metal. They made it heavier.
Okay.
They changed one of the lines, which when I think about it, I was like, it's great. It was a great change. There's a line where they said a deadhead sticker on a Cadillac.
Yes.
The guy changed it to a Pantera sticker on a Cadillac.
Oh, nice.
When I first heard him say it, I was like, all right, I got to get points for that.
That's all right. Now you could give him points for that. Sure, absolutely.
And then we took points off for everything else. That's like you said.
Let's move it along because I want to get to the Jets and I still want to get to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which we're going to go to right now.
Can we do the Jets real quick?
Sure, go ahead. Go for it.
I'd like to just real quick give my thoughts on the Jets.
All right, good. Good.
They suck. Robert Saleh was made a scapegoat.
I agree. Quarterback get him in.
Aaron Rodgers threw him under the bus and had a hostile takeover of the team. Not Aaron Rodgers. Salah was the collateral damage. I like the idea that Salah landed in Green Bay, right where Rodgers came from. So I'm kind of rooting for Green Bay a little bit. But the thing that I found interesting is that they hired him as a defensive coach with a fluid role. And his role is to work with the offense to help the offense know and learn the defenses that they're playing better.
Yep. Yeah.
Which I thought was an interesting approach.
Yeah. I've seen a couple of the teams do it, and it's it. They hire defensive specialists to come in and tear apart their offense and say, this is why your offense works or doesn't work, and what they would change, and what are the defenses doing while your offense is doing this, or what should you be doing. So it's a smart move. He's obviously a great defensive mind that coming from his days in Frisco and all that. I don't think the guy was much of a head coach. He deserved to be fired, but not the way it went down.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, but I'm glad to see he landed on his feet, and I'm sure he'll get another opportunity as a defensive coordinator. I don't think he'll get another opportunity to be a head coach, not for a long time.
He's in Green Bay, Frank. He
just
got hired.
Yes.
Was he? I think it was when he was before San Francisco. I forget where he was before he was in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. The coach LaFleur.
Yeah.
That was in Green Bay. That's in Green Bay now. Salah went over to him and asked him to please hire him, and that's what he did. Or he hired LaFleur, whatever it is. There was something where he went to the coach he was working for, said, please hire him, and he did. So, let's see what happens. I just I was thinking differently of Aaron Rodgers, but I have this to say, and Tom, I know that you're going to agree. Yes, he may be one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play in a game and all this other shit. He may have great stats. He's been to one Super Bowl. One Super Bowl. There's a lot of other quarterbacks. Eli Manning is not half the quarterback on the field during the season that Aaron Rodgers is. He won 2 Super Bowls.
Correct.
He's been to 2 Super Bowls. Aaron Rodgers, I'm not going to say that he's over, not an overachiever, but overhyped or whatever. But he just it's time. I hope that they cut ties with him after this season. I really do.
Well, I was going to ask you these questions, so let me do what I was going to do. So here's the thing. Obviously, this season hasn't gone the way the Jets want. I think firing the coach. While I don't think Rodgers called up Woody Johnson, I don't think when Woody called Rodgers up and said, "What do you think?" I don't think he stuck up for his coach. I think he wanted to make the change.
He definitely pointed fingers.
Absolutely, and he got fired. Basically, and again, I believe he deserved to be fired, just not that point. And you either did it last offseason or you wait till this offseason. This never works. But the problem with the Jets is this.
You give him the season because this was the first real quarterback he had.
Correct.
Okay? When you look at the murderous road that he was dealing with beforehand,
100%.
You got to give it to him. You have to. They didn't. And listen, here's hoping he lands someplace else.
Right. But here's the thing about this Jet team. And I've watched a lot of their games. I got to watch about a quarter and change. I DVR'd it, haven't watched the rest of the Steeler game. The problem with this team, Jeff, is it's not a team. Right now, Quinnen Williams, Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, to a certain extent, Aaron Rodgers, your 4 best players, Breece Hall out at number 5, none of them are playing well. None of them are.
It's not playing well.
Yeah. And the problem I have is I don't think these young guys like Aaron Rodgers. They may be happy he's their quarterback, but I don't believe he can relate to them. And that's why he seems to only have Lazard and now Adams in his brain, because the rest of them aren't buying into the Aaron Rodgers bullshit. And that's what it is. He is the king of bullshit. He is the biggest detriment. And this is why Green Bay had no problem moving on from him.
Well, listen, Green Bay looks like they're doing pretty good right now at this point in time with their quarterback, with Julian Love, right?
Yeah.
But here's another thing that you got to say. The Jets, they went all in on Aaron Rodgers, okay? Last year, they brought in Randall Cobb.
Yep.
They brought in Lazard, okay?
Yeah.
Then they didn't throw in the fucking ball.
Yep.
And then they ended up cutting Cobb. Now they go out and get Adams, okay? Adams, you may get another couple years out of Adams, but, 1 week that he played 1 week so far. Let's give him a couple weeks, a couple games till they get their fucking sync back with each other. But it's Breece Hall was one of the best running backs in the league. He's not right now. He's not. He's not. You got Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, if he's telling the truth, then good. But if he's not telling the truth, he's saying the right things so that he doesn't cause a public brawl with this quarterback. But it's just when you think about it, you see what's happening. You just got to think to yourself and be like, are they going to get it together? They just don't seem to have any kind of sync with each other.
I would agree with you. Now, here's the question I'm going to ask you. Let's say the Jets season plays out the way it's going. Now, listen, if it finishes, if they win 6 games, I don't think there's any question. The Jets go out and win. They come back. They win maybe 8 or 9 games, just miss the playoffs. Obviously, at this point, you have to believe that there's going to be a complete coaching change, right? You would think that, Ulbricht's gone. Joe Douglas is probably gone. New coaching staff. That means Hackett's gone. Do you fight to keep Rodgers another year? Do you blow up the team? Adams is gone. How do you, Jeff, if you were the owner, how do you treat this team at the end of the season? You're mediocre. You just missed the playoffs. You played a little well, but you did. Obviously, if they blow it up, they're going to be done. But if you finish middle of the pack, how do you handle it?
If you go 7-10 with Zach Wilson, and then add Aaron Rodgers, and go 6-11, then you have to dismantle the whole team. I personally feel as though that Aaron Rodgers should be gone after this season.
I agree.
Keep Adams. I would try to keep Adams for at least another year to help whoever the next quarterback is. You got Garrett Wilson. You definitely need another top-notch quarterback. Garrett Wilson is not. They drafted one in the third round, about Malachi Cooley or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
I don't even think the guy has seen the field yet. So that to me is a wasted draft pick.
Yeah.
A nice surprise for them is this kid, Will McDonald. He's one of the league leaders in sacks.
Yes, definitely coming out of nowhere. Yes, I would agree. But he might be their best player at this point.
Yeah, and considering the guy that ended up going free agency to Philly, he ain't doing nothing. He's not doing anything.
Yeah,
right, Joe. He's probably not staying for a rebuild unless.
Yeah, and neither is Adams. I mean, neither is Rodgers. Rodgers.
Yeah, but here's the thing: what I think with Adams, he went to the Raiders, who were nowhere near close to playing into the playoffs and doing anything good over there. Money will make football players do a lot of strange shit.
Agreed.
Like play on some shitty ass fucking teams.
Yeah. No, I think if Rodgers were to go, I don't see Adams sticking around, but who knows? I just think at this point, though, if you're Woody Johnson, this obviously didn't work. I don't think Woody could go out there now and get the next Robert Saleh, the next offensive or defensive coordinator, the guy du jour of the day. I think if you're him, you got to come out of there with a veteran. Now, you're not getting Belichick because Belichick hates the Jets. Nor do I think maybe Jet fans would want Belichick. I think the guy you got to look for is a Mike Vrabel type. You need a veteran coach who's done it before, and move forward with this team with a new GM. But I think unless you make the playoffs and make a run, which is very unlikely at this moment, but not impossible, I think the team's done with Aaron Rodgers. I don't know what the financial commitment is anymore to him. I don't know if they owe money next year. And also, I don't think you want to stay around for a rebuild.
Who's the guy that went to what do you call it? He went to Philly. Not Jonathan Franklin Myers, right?
No, Bryce Huff.
Bryce Harper, yeah.
Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff.
Okay. Yeah, Frank, you got a wrong player, man. Nobody said anything about Jonathan Franklin Myers. Talking about that guy Huff, and you're saying he's got 1.5 sacks. This guy sucks. Not your guy. I don't know what your guy's doing, but
yeah. So listen, here's the bottom line. This Jeff team's in big trouble. You're looking at.
We're not talking about the guy from Denver. We're talking about the guy from Philly.
Yeah, no. Bryce Huff was the guy who went over to Philly. And I don't think he's done much there.
He's got 1.5 sacks.
Yeah, I don't think he's done much there. So. The other thing, so the Jets have problems, but there's some problems across the hall. And I made a big announcement before you came on. I'm going to get right to that. Don't hold that note. Don't go nowhere on that one. I want to get my Giant thing out, and then we'll finish up with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm done with the Giants as this team is built because I don't like teams that are quitters. Now I'll watch the games, and I'm rooting for my Giants. But I'm also done with the Daniel Jones experiment. Daniel Jones is on the clock as far as I'm concerned. At some point,
to this, Frank. You're listening to this.
Yeah.
You hear this?
I've had enough. I think the guy's got ability. I think he's got he's got what it takes to play quarterback in this league. For some reason, it just doesn't translate onto the field, and I've gotten tired of it. I can't watch another game where he throws just behind a receiver. I know the guy takes a beating. I think he's got some ability. It won't translate onto the field, and I don't know what it is. And I'm tired of looking at it. So, but I don't want to see Drew Lock. If I am going to watch Giant games and it's not Daniel Jones, and I will let Jones play. At this point, it makes no sense. But if you're going to change quarterbacks, and rightfully so at this point, Tommy DeVito, just put him out there. He's got some juice. He threw the ball well last year. I could care less. I don't want to see Drew Lock ever.
Well, if I could weigh in on this one,
please.
Okay. I think that there's a lot of issues going on.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm glad to see that you you're shying away from Daniel Jones. Here's what my issue is. One, the offensive line.
Yep.
That guy Evan Neal, he's not even playing, is he?
No.
Because of injury, or is he's that bad?
He hasn't been good. So he's coming off the injury. They picked up a couple of veteran guys, Illuminor from the Raiders, and this guy Van Roten. They're playing tackle and guard. The offensive line's been good up until this game. The offensive line was very good. This game, 8 sacks, 14 pressures. Nobody was good. But
no, but
Evan Neal has not played because he just hasn't not been good.
Evan Neal, it was a high draft pick.
Number 6, I think a number 6 or 7.
And he was a left tackle. He got regulated over to right tackle.
Correct.
And he hasn't done anything. So the offensive line is a big thing for the Giants. We know that.
Yep.
They had some problems with Saquon Barkley, and they got another running back who seems okay, but he's definitely not in the same realm as Saquon Barkley. But their receivers, other than this kid Nabers, and it's sad to watch that he got a concussion already in his first year.
Yep.
Is he an answer for the future, or is there a possibility they got another injury-prone receiver?
I won't say the injury-prone. I would say up until that point, he was everything he's supposed to be. The problem is the rest of the receivers. Slayton's had one good game. Robert, they're either lead or they're tied for second. They're tied for their second place with the most drops in the league. So when your quarterback's off a little bit and you guys are dropping big passes, it's a bad thing. So right now you got one great receiver, a bunch of okay receivers at best, and a quarterback who just can't seem to put it all together. So, to me, I don't know where the season's going. They'll win enough games to probably wind up with the 8th or 9th pick in the draft. As long as they don't draft Shedeur Sanders, they can draft whoever they feel, or bring in a veteran. But this team, the problem I have with it is too many guys not playing hard. Deonte Banks, I watch. If I see him play another down in football for the Giants, I'll probably throw up. I don't like guys who dog it or don't stick their head in there or play to the scoreboard. To me, every game is 0-0 to the end, and you play hard every play. And if you don't, you wasted my time and money, and I got no use for you. So, like I said, Daniel Jones, quarterbacks rest of the year, great. To me, he's auditioning, and I have no problem whether they bring in a veteran or draft somebody, cut him. I want the best football team out there, and right now I ain't seeing it, so I'm tired of it.
No, it's I think that you have to keep going around the horn here and question the coaches.
Yes, and rightfully so. Yeah, I would agree with that. I have enough. I can't get rid of Shane and Dable. I can't get rid of one or the other. To me, they came as a package. So if Dable sucks, then Shane's got to go with him. So to me, they got to get another year.
Not necessarily true, but Shane isn't really doing much to give Dable. See, to me, I like to look at it this way: if the general manager isn't getting the players or getting competent players, and in the Giants' case, it's offensive line and receivers, but the quarterback, there's a lot to do with the quarterback too. It's not easy. I understand it's not easy, but you got to do something better. The Giants' offensive line has been a mess since the Gettleman days.
Yeah.
And
it was just playing. I'm telling you, from week 2 till last week, the line played really well. They weren't giving up sacks. They were running the football. They were not even in the conversation. That's how well they were playing. This Sunday, they were terrible. Now we'll see what happens this Monday night. They got to play a real tough team in Pittsburgh. We'll see. We'll see if they turn it around. But I'm just tired of seeing bad football, uninspired football, and I need to change. Now I don't think they should change the coach and the court and the GM. I think they deserve another year, and I think I'm tired of seeing 3 years and a new regime. I want to see some stability, and I like the guys. And I think they have a plan. But I think it all starts and ends with fixing the offensive line and the quarterback position. So we'll see.
I just think that this is a team that they're just not nailing. They just don't have the right pieces.
Yes, I agree.
And it's a complete puzzle. It's not just like, well, we need a cornerback or we need this, we need that.
Oh.
Are they closer to a rebuild or a retool?
Retool. I think there's enough good pieces. I think there's enough good players that you don't have to tear it completely down. I think there's enough good offense and defensive players that you can mix and match. You just got to make a change. And I, to be honest with you, I think Daniel Jones will be on this team next year. I just don't know if he'll be the starting quarterback. I think you'll see a rookie quarterback. I think he'll be the backup, or maybe he gets to start and then the rookie will come in. I don't think cutting him is the answer because of the money that he'll be owed. And I think Daniel Jones is a smart player and a guy who, come off the bench and, be serviceable. I don't think he can lead the team unless you're going to go to Tommy DeVito. If they think he's the answer, which I would believe they don't. And I think the Giants will draft a quarterback. And if Jones is on the roster, which I believe because of the money he will be, he might just be holding a clipboard next year. So,
well, you know what? Listen, you can't think this team is going to be successful if next year you go out and draft a rookie and then you put him in there. You're going to have a placeholder of some kind for at least a year.
I would agree. And that's why I think it'll be Jones.
If it doesn't work next year with a placeholder, then if you're going to end up getting rid of the quarterback or the coach and the general manager, then all you're doing is becoming the Jets with a blue uniform.
Correct. Yeah, because then you'll have a rookie quarterback that's forced on the next regime that comes in. So you're right.
I think they're better off just tearing it down this year.
That's possible.
Or, see what happens, because not for nothing, they already gave mixed signals about Daniel Jones last year when they tried to trade up and they couldn't get anybody. They had to be embarrassed about that.
Oh, absolutely.
Daniel Jones has to be thinking in the back of his head, my time is short here. But, they didn't get rid of him. They kept him. But, when you hear that, while they're looking to move up in the draft, they just couldn't get nobody to move up with them.
Yeah, well, they wanted to move up to get Drake May, and the Patriots said, "Hey, we want to get him," and they didn't make the trade, and they wanted too much, and you got Daniel Jones, and again, I've been the biggest Daniel Jones supporter, but I just can't watch it anymore. I can't watch inept offense. The ball never winds up in the right spot. It's always a little short, or it's a little overthrown. I don't know if it's the receivers. I don't know if it's Daniel Jones. I don't care anymore. I just can't watch, every week, you're struggling to put up, when you get killed at home by the Eagles 28-3 and you don't even look like the semblance of an offense, I got to put it on the quarterback at some point. So, that's my stance. But, again, we'll be back next week. We'll talk about the Jets and the Giants. Big games for both this week. The Giants are in Pittsburgh. The Jets get the Patriots. If the Jets lose this week, all bets are off. They need to win. You got the Texans coming up. If the Jets lose to arguably the worst team in football this week, Jeff, there is nothing to be done.
Oh, listen, you're right. There is not much that could be done, but it's just it's bad, man.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't think anybody thought that this team would look like this at this point. But again, last point on the Jets, we did say, he's a 40-year-old quarterback who hasn't played in almost 2 years, and nobody knew what you're going to get out of him. And so far, he has not played well. And I don't care. No. Nobody can tell me that Aaron Rodgers has played at all. He hasn't been terrible. And if they played better, he wouldn't be the reason why they were losing these games. But right now, he's not playing well. They're not playing well. And I think it's just, they're just not they're not mixing. You can see him and Garrett Wilson are not friendly, and that's a tough thing for a veteran guy. I just think they're it's doomed. But let's get to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Jeff. Before we end the show, I did want to talk about this. So the inductees, I believe they had the ceremony already, and they're going to be playing it on New Year's Day. So Jeff, here are the people inducted into this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Mary J. Blige. I can tell you I've never heard anything by Mary J. Blige on purpose. Cher, who I read had never been in, which I was surprised about, to be honest with you. Not that I'm a big Cher fan, but I heard that she's the only person who's had a top 10 hit in like 6 or 7 decades. So,
Wow.
but what I read was that the only reason she got in was because Jan Wenner, the head of Rolling Stone, made a call, which Rolling Stone obviously is the impetus behind the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He made a call to the committee and said she needs to get in, and somehow she got voted in. So she didn't earn her way in. The guy who runs the place kind of forced the hand. Whether she deserves it or not, she's been on record saying, if they induct me, I'll never go. I could care less. But of course, she went in. So, to me, is she an influence? I don't know. She's been around forever. She's been very successful. So, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
she gets railed regularly by a young African American.
So she belongs to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because of it?
Well, she's going maybe to the emergency room because of it.
All right, so Mary J. Blige, Cher. Dave Matthews Band, again, I don't know. Not a big fan. Foreigner, a little surprised that they weren't in it. Then I said, well, do they deserve to be in it? This is another one of those bands that's been a super group for years. I guarantee you there can't be more than one guy from the original band left.
I think there's actually 2 versions of Foreigner.
Is there really? Oh, running around the streets now? Okay.
Yeah.
Next up, Peter Frampton, and Kool and the Gang. Now, I actually like some Kool and the Gang stuff, but, it's Kool and the Gang, rock and roll. Peter Frampton, is it one great album, maybe? One great song?
Peter Frampton was, I believe, in Humble Pie. His live album is one of the best-selling live albums of all time.
Agreed.
He has some great stuff, man. He really does. I'm not the biggest fan. I couldn't tell you all of his stuff, but he's good. I think he deserves to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. If you're putting in Mary J. Blige and Kool and the Gang, then definitely, without a doubt. If they didn't come in to go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I'd have to kick the idea around a little bit.
Now, I believe, according to Will Cloak, that Frampton is like in a wheelchair or can't walk properly.
Yeah, he has some health issues. I don't know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, and then obviously Ozzy, we know Ozzy's health issue, but Ozzy now got in there as a solo performer. And according to Will, I haven't seen it. Like I said, I'm sure there's some stuff you can catch online. But supposedly he did not thank all the musicians that he played with, which as a solo artist, the guy's had a couple of iconic, maybe, would you say he's had 3 iconic guitar players?
I might say he had more than that.
Well, I'm saying iconic. I'm not saying
Tony Iommi.
I'm talking about only the solo career. I'm just talking solo.
But overall, you got to, Iommi, Rhodes, Brad Gillis, I know was there for a short time. Jakey Lee, Zach Wilde, John Five was there for a while. This other guy, Gus G was his name. He's had some people, man.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, Rudy Sarzo's been in the band. He's had Gus Trio was in there for a while, wasn't he?
I believe.
Yeah. Randy Rhoads was the only one he thanked.
Tommy Aldridge.
Yeah,
Lee Kesselake, all of those guys that were on the first album.
Yeah, I mean, he's had some iconic musicians in his band. And again, maybe some would we have ever heard of Randy Rhoads if he stayed in Quiet Riot? I don't know. Would we have ever heard of Jakey Lee if Jakey Lee was still in the form of Rat and some of the other bands that he was in, or Badlands? I don't know, but also another thing, Ozzy should have been in years ago. I mean, you can knock Ozzy and the lifestyle and the craziness of Ozzy, but when you think of metal, and I'm glad he's in there with Sabbath and rightfully so, but Ozzy as a solo performer, I think Blizzard of Oz is the most influential metal album of all time, because while Sabbath was around for a decade doing that thing, metal didn't blow up until after that album. And then, of course, New Album and all that, and then everything exploded. But to me, Blizzard of Oz just was a game changer. And think about, not many guys leave their band that's that successful and go someplace else and get as much or more success, Jeff. That doesn't happen all the time.
He just hit it at the right time, man.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it. how many guys can we think of that were in successful bands and then went on to have better solo careers? I mean, obviously, I can think of Phil Collins. You know, the guy was in Genesis, a great band, went solo and was huge. But in the metal world, I mean,
Dio.
see, but Dio, to me, Dio was. See, I don't know. I don't know how to explain Dio on that one. So Dio maybe, but Dio, I don't know. That's an interesting conversation.
Dio had a pretty good career for himself. He was in Rainbow. He started off in a band called Elf.
Yeah.
It was in Sabbath, but it wasn't until his own band that he went out and just kept making albums. You see how many albums he put out with Sabbath and some of the other Elf and Rainbow.
Yeah.
And he put more out.
Yeah, I mean, David Lee Roth never got to the same place where he was with Van Halen. Sammy Hagar, maybe because he was in Montrose and then went on the solo, and then Van Halen. He may be a guy you could put in that category, maybe, but there's not many. But Ozzy deserved to be in. I'm sure he should have been in a long time ago, and I'm sure he's a bit of a mess now. I don't know much about A Tribe Called Quest. Do you know much about A Tribe Called Quest?
Judging by the picture, they do look like a tribe. Maybe a tribe from the jungles of Guyana or something. I don't know.
I don't know. I've never heard that. I've never heard him. Jimmy Buffett got in. The MC5. Again, I've listened to the MC5. It's not my type of thing.
No, not at all, man. But everybody loves them.
Yes. You talk to anybody from that neck of the woods.
The Ramones, that was a huge influence on them.
Yes. A lot of bands that we like, one of the first, and that's why, to me, I don't think they were successful selling a lot of albums, but supposedly they're a very influential band. I've listened to them. Jimmy Buffett, it's a taste thing. I like some, I like a couple songs, but obviously the guy's obviously iconic. I don't think he's influential, but he's obviously iconic. Don't worry, Jeff. I know you were worried about it, but Dionne Warwick and Norman Whitfield also got in, so don't worry.
Well, Dionne Warwick I could see, but who the fuck is, other than being Mr. and Mrs. Whitfield's kid, who is he?
I have no idea. Again, two other guys. Musical Influence Award to Alexis Corner and John Mayall. Again, two people I've never heard of.
John Mayall is a big blues player. A lot of people. He influenced a lot of players.
Okay. And next up is Big Mama Thornton, Jeff. If you were concerned if Big Mama got in, she did. Don't worry. I don't know much about Big Mama, but she's big.
She looks like she has a sweaty sheen, even in the wintertime.
I could just say that there's probably some crumbs buried in some of those folds right there.
Yeah, I would think more than crumbs, maybe an onion, maybe a pickle.
Yes. Yeah, there's definitely some picking food coming out of that.
Yeah.
And then finally, the Ahmet Ertegun Award, which I don't know what that is, went to Suzanne DePass. I'm assuming that's some sort of a executive award. She did Hound Dog. Great.
No, not her. Big Mama Thornton.
Yeah, Big Mama Thornton. Yes, I got that. Yeah. So again, this is your 2024, Jeff, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees. I think it's getting less and less important to anybody.
First of all, like I said, there's only one way to fix this, and that's call it the Music Hall of Fame. That's all they got to do is call it the Music Hall of Fame. And all of these conversations that we have every time they put somebody else in there, stop immediately.
Yeah, we can't even argue anymore. Yeah, you're right. You're true.
You can't call it the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. A Tribe Called Quest, for example, okay? I think they're kind of like an alternative band. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to look them up right now.
I'm looking them up right now, Jeff. Inducted by Dave Chappelle. That's Phife Dawg, Ali Shaheed Muhammad, Q-Tip, and Jarobi White.
American hip hop group.
Okay, Hall of Fame essay. I don't know anything about them. I maybe they deserve to be in some sort of Hall of Fame. Maybe they don't. I don't really know. But again, are we leaving people out? I'm sure we are. I didn't know Cher wasn't in. Iggy Mo likes Tribe. Well, listen, I'm sure that they have some great hits. They just don't belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Glad to see Ozzy got in. I like to see Randy Rhoads get inducted. So I guess they didn't put the Blizzard of Oz band in there. They just put in Ozzy as a solo performer, I guess.
Well, actually the band was not called the Blizzard of Oz. The album was called Blizzard.
I got you, but yeah,
but people call it Blizzard of Oz. They're like, Ozzy Osbourne and the Blizzard of Oz,
yes.
Which I think should have been the name of the band all along. Once it caught, why not?
Yeah,
I had no problem with that.
Yeah, I think the problem is obviously they made the change on the second album, right? Because I think the bass players got changed, right? Rudy Sarzo came in on album number 2, right?
I believe.
And I don't know if they changed drummers or not, but I know he changed bass players at some point. I don't know I think the bass players were the same on the albums, but I think Rudy did the tour, if I'm not mistaken.
That is possible. The guy that I was going for bass lessons for a couple months ago, I was going for bass lessons.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it didn't work out. I didn't want to waste the guy's time, and I wasn't taking it as seriously as I should have. So I told the guy, I was like, I gotta stop for now. I didn't want him to. He was a nice guy and everything else, and I didn't want him to, waste his time.
Okay, interesting.
But I will say that part of the reason that I picked him, was because I know I saw the video myself. I know it. I seen it, and then I spoke to him about it. He actually tried out for Ozzy's band.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Dominic Tancredi. I don't know if you know Dominic.
I know the name. Is he Rosebank guy?
No. I don't know where he lived. I want to say out by somewhere by Newdorp. I know he lives out in like.
I think I'm actually friends with him on Facebook for some reason. I don't
might be. He has a lot of friends. He's a good guy, man. Nice guy, but a great bass player. And the little time that I did go, I did learn some stuff. But I felt as though I was wasting his time.
Yeah, I am friends with him on Facebook. Yeah.
But he tried out for Ozzy's band. I remember when somebody showed me the tape. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. It was pretty cool to see somebody, and then there he is playing. And then next thing you know, the camera pans over and there's Ozzy singing. And I'm like, you got to,
wow. Yeah. Listen,
got to talk to him about it, which was really cool. And he said he played like 2 or 3 songs with Ozzy, and Ozzy was like, this, that, and they played it, and he was like, well, all right, be gone, and that's it.
Yeah, I have to tell you,
I can audition, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I didn't realize. Will said that Randy got into the whole Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I probably just forgot. I didn't remember him getting in.
I do not know that. I don't. Well, not like, why would they put Randy Rhoads in before Ozzy got in as a solo artist?
Yeah, that's interesting. I'd have to look that up. That's interesting. But again, I think that band was iconic for 2 albums, and I guess if there was a Metal Hall of Fame, it gets in. But that album was so iconic. Even the first 2 albums, so iconic that band that recorded it but it's only 2 albums. And again, if Randy's in, great. I'm happy to hear that because Randy Rhoads deserved it. But yeah, Randy getting in before Ozzy or not with Ozzy is kind of strange to me. You're right. So
yeah, it just doesn't make much in a way.
I read Rudy's book, and it was a very good one. And he did. I
think the only records and songs that you can find Randy Rhoads on, unless there's stuff released, and I'm sure there is stuff released underground, would be the Ozzy stuff.
No, there's at least 1, if not 2, Quiet Riot albums with Randy Rhoads stuff on it.
Can you get them on iTunes?
I don't know. I don't know. I at one point I think I owned something, but I don't have it anymore. But there is the original Quiet Riot band was Randy Rhoads, and I think I want to say he played on the song Slick Black Cadillac, but I have to go back and check that.
Well, I'm looking at this. I got the albums, which was Metal Health 1983, Condition Critical 1984, Quiet Riot 3 1986, QR 1988, then Road Rage 2017, Hollywood Cowboys 2019. That is it.
Hold on a second. There is Quiet Riot 2.
There's a couple live albums.
No, there's definitely an album with Randy Rhoads on it. Again, it could be a live album, but it is definitely an album where Randy Rhoads is playing Quiet Riot songs. I mean, the early stuff.
It's definitely not accessible on iTunes.
Okay, so
that I can tell you.
Okay, hold on. I think I've seen it in a record store. Let me see. Hold on. Let's go back. So Quiet Riot Japan Only was the first album. Randy's on that one. Quiet Riot 2, again, another Japan Only release. And then Metal Health in 83. So I think the 78 album, it's actually saying this. So Quiet Riot, released March 2nd, 1978. And Quiet Riot 2 also released December 2nd, 1978. I think those had Randy Rhoads on them. So
trying to look up, I can't.
Look up Quiet Riot, the album. And
I'm trying to look it up on, Jesus Christ. I can't even operate. I can't look at this now.
Yeah, I'm on their YouTube page, and let's see, history. So it was formed in 1973 by guitarist Randy Rhoads and bassist Kelly Garney. Quiet Riot became originally known as Mach 1. They changed to Little Women. The band's name was inspired by Rhoads became the focal point of the band, both musically and visually, the polka dot theme. So yeah, the live stuff from Japan, he's on that, which is Quiet Riot 1 and 2. He did not obviously make it onto their like stuff. He was with Ozzy at that point. So, so that answers that question, Jeff, that you had. But yeah, I know there is recordings of that. Other than that, I don't think there's very much with Randy Rhoads on it. I know there's a few videos I found online.
Well, there's definitely nothing accessible on vinyl or whatever on Amazon or iTunes, because they're not there.
Okay.
That's a definite.
Yeah, I'm sure if you go to eBay or Amazon, I think Amazon might even have it also.
That is possible.
Yeah, let me see. I'm gonna take real quick before we call it a night. I want to see, because I might have to buy that just for future. Riot. Vinyl.
I haven't used Amazon Music in so long. I forgot how to fucking.
Let's see. Yep, I got Quiet Riot, the first album, and it's got Randy Rhoads on the cover. Let me see if I can pop that up for you.
From where?
I'm on Amazon, not Amazon Music, Amazon. And let's see if I can pop that up so you can see it, Jeff. And the guys, hold on a second. Oh, no, let's not invite anybody. And share screen, Quiet Riot. Share. Let me know if you can see it.
See that, yeah. And it's only $50-something. That ain't
$54. Yes, reissued import, $54. You can get the used one for $29.98. But that is a Quiet Riot album with Kevin Dubrow and Randy Rhoads. So if you want to hear some Randy Rhoads pre-Ozzy. There it is for you, Jeff.
I see that.
Yeah, so interesting. But again, that's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees for this year. Jeff, if you want to see it live, I'm sure you can find some stuff on YouTube, but I think it's being played somewhere on January 1st. I saw it today. I thought that was odd. But for me, I could care less. Unless they're putting Iron Maiden in at this point, I got no interest in watching it. And I don't think Maiden will ever get there. I think they put their obligatory metal band, and I know Eddie Trunk's on there. Fuck him too. I could care less at this point. We'll have a like, but again, a sad passing of Paul Di'Anno, and an era has passed us now, and unfortunately, we'll probably lose more of them before it's too long. Unfortunately.
Well, they ain't coming back. That's
that's very true. It's on Disney, and it was okay. Okay, so there you go. Yeah. So anyway, That's it, folks. We'll be back next week. Next week, I might have to actually have to do an earlier show. I am actually going to be getting on the road to do some long distance driving next Thursday night, early Friday morning. So the show may be popping up about 6 o'clock if we can work it out. If not, it'll be 7, but it'll be a little later than it will be ending a little earlier. I got to get a few hours sleep before I get on the road. So
where you heading?
Heading to Florida. Got the little vacation with the kids and my parents, and very busy couple of weeks. So we're going to be driving down 19 hours. So I will, like I said, we're going to be leaving sometime around midnight. So I got to get, I'll get about 3 hours or 4 hours of sleep if I possibly can. So keep it in mind, if we can pop on a little bit early, I would appreciate it.
And it's totally up to you.
Yep. And of course, we hope that Basil's recovery is quick and she gets back to her usual routine, and everything works out well with her. As we always do, we love all members of our families. And I consider obviously everybody in Jeff's family my family, including his beautiful puppy and cat. So
yeah, I gotta go downstairs and see what's going on with her.
Yep. So guys, thanks to Will and Joe and Frankie Catalano, Louis Pica for popping up, and all you guys. Good night, guys. Will, thank you for the heads up on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame stuff. I would never have known that was out there. I didn't see it. So thank you very much, my brother, and stay safe out there. Thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight and paid attention to us, and appreciate it. And I really thank Jeff for making some time to pop up. We both had some rough weeks last week and we didn't get on, and I always look forward to chatting, and we still managed to get a good almost 2 hours in together, hour and a half and change. So I'm happy. It's been a good night. So again, guys, one last time, remember, November 5th is coming, and if you want to see more of this, you got to just vote for her. If you don't want to see any more of that, $150 billion of your money spent, November 5th, you know how to vote. But do your homework. In the meantime, what do you got plans this weekend, Jeff? Anything coming up?
Sit there watching the dog heal.
There you go. It's a good week. That's a good weekend. Yeah, me too. Yeah. I'm going to sit back and relax this weekend and do practically nothing but play a lot of guitar and do some chores around the house. So I've been out the last couple of weekends away. I wanted to relax this weekend, and I'm going to hopefully get my wish. So in the meantime, we got the big holiday jam coming up December 30th. Keep it on your calendars. You want to pop in and say hello. The boys and I will be all over at Mode Music on December 30th. So if you want to come in and listen to some old guys play old music, come on down. Any new shows ready to pop there, Jeff?
Not right now, no.
All right. So Jeff's got 3 projects.
Let loose with.
All right. Well, Jeff's got the 3 projects. Hopefully one of them will break and get some music out there. But in the meantime, you can certainly come back and find both of us here on a Thursday night. So make sure you come back next Thursday when Jeff and I get to do this all over again. And in the meantime, please have a nice, safe weekend. We'll be coming back to you next Thursday, which I believe is Halloween. So if you want to dress up, you're more than welcome to dress up for the occasion.
Yeah, it is.
Huh?
I think it is next Thursday.
Next Thursday. Yes, today's the 24th. So next week will be Halloween. So if you want to come on and trick or treat with us, come on down. If you don't, no problem. When is the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown on? Is it on regular TV anymore?
No, it is not.
It's only on Amazon or
not Amazon, Apple TV.
Oh, Apple TV. Wow.
Yeah.
What a shame.
Which I have. It seems as though I have, so I will be watching it.
Yeah, I'm gonna find it. I'll have to get it somewhere. If I have to buy it, I will buy it for $3 or whatever it is online. I have to watch it.
I have it on my phone, which means I have it on my iPad and a laptop that's around someplace. I got it on my TV and I DVR'd it. And then on one of the TVs, my wife has somebody's Apple account. So the plan is this weekend is we got a nice big pumpkin. We're going to carve that up.
Nice.
And then me, my wife, and the dog are going to go in the sun porch. And I got a bunch of Halloween lights put up. I'm going to put up a few more.
Nice.
Yeah, and even if I just throw them in the corner so that the room turns orange, you know. And we'll watch it. That's all we can do.
Good for you. All right. Well, listen, make sure you come back and spend a little Halloween with us. In the meantime, we want you guys to have a safe weekend. But as we always say, have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week, a great weekend, and a great next week. Come on back to the Hard Rocket Sports Show when we do this next Thursday night all over again. Lots of football and music stuff in the future. And you need to do is find out all about it right here on the Hard Rocket Sports Show. So for Jeff Tomwinski, myself, and all of us here at the Hard Rocket Sports Show, have a great night and a great week. And we'll see you back here Thursday night. Hefe, I'll talk to you off the air, man.
All right, man. Be good.
Have a good night.
Later.